Let's get into the astrology for January 2026. January 1st, Mercury will square Neptune, and this can bring a lot of confusion, lack of clarity, especially within communication. January 2nd, Chiron will go direct at 22 degrees of Aries. So we're shifting from healing, self-reflecting into action, taking what we have learned and really using it, utilizing it, moving forward. And a lot of you will feel this, especially if you have late degree Aries planets. January 3rd, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter is also in Cancer, bringing in a lot of optimism to this full moon. So there could be some happy endings, celebrations, or you really putting an end to things that you have wanted to put an end to. Seeing your vision come to life, finally gaining recognition, rewards in the area of life where you have the sign of Cancer. The Sabian symbol for 13 degrees of Cancer is one hand slightly flexed with a very prominent thumb, really signaling willpower, manifestation, using our personal strength. Mars will be in Capricorn. It's exalted in the sign of Capricorn, so we could really be very much business minded, working on what it is that we want to put out into the world, really wanting to get things done and push through any limitations that we may have. January 6th, the Sun will conjunct with Venus, and this will shift our focus to love, creativity, finances, a great day for relationships, date night, family celebrations, as well as delving deep into your hobbies, your creativity. January 7th, Venus will conjunct with Mars. So we have an increased desire for love, for affection, and this could actually bring in a lot of relationship satisfaction. We may be able to get exactly what it is that we desire. It's an excellent day for relationships, a date night, meeting somebody new, strong attractions. January 9th, the Sun will conjunct with Mars, and this can make us more accident prone, more aggressive. We also have Venus opposing Jupiter, which can bring us more opportunity, more optimism. On the negative, we could be missing the details of everything going on in our lives. So missing the fine details, also overindulging. Really, from the 9th to the 18th, we have a lot of opposition from Jupiter. So there could be more opportunity, more optimism for all of us during the middle of the month. January 10th, the Sun opposes Jupiter, Mars opposes Jupiter. We may feel more confident, competitive, wanting to take on more risk. January 14th, Mercury is opposing Jupiter, again bringing us optimism in all our communication. And this is really good for creative writing, creative ideas, being on social media, presenting something out into the world. We have more opportunity to connect with people. January 15th, Venus will sextile Saturn, and Venus will also trine Uranus. So we're wanting a meaningful connection, making things official. Also, a new romance, a new creative hobby can be found, maybe some financial luck, something fun or meaningful appearing out of the blue. January 18th, we have Mercury conjuncting with Mars. This can make people more defensive. There could be more outbursts. People can be more argumentative. But Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn. So this can just mean that we're being very constructive. Also on the 18th, we have a new moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So you are initiating something new, a new beginning wherever you have the sign of Capricorn in your chart. The Sabian symbol for 28 degrees of Capricorn is a large aviary, calling our attention to spiritual messages, becoming aware of messages, looking out for hidden clues, sharing our gifts, our talents with the world. So really pay attention around the new moon in Capricorn. You might be getting flashes of insights, guidance, intuition, spiritual messages may be coming to you about what it is that you need to begin, you want to begin. January 20th, Sun is sextiling Uranus, Mars is trining Uranus, Mars is also sextiling Saturn, and Mercury is sextiling Neptune. So it's a day of action, dedication, creativity, communication. January 22nd, Mercury is conjuncting with Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. This can bring up issues with travel, uncovering secrets, intense communication, secrets that come to light. January 23rd, Sun will conjunct with Pluto. There can be a lot of outbursts, a lot of power struggles, even arguments. So watch out, especially if you're out and about. People can be more on edge. January 26th, Neptune enters Aries. Now it's here to stay in Aries for another 14 years. And if you have personal planets from about 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you will feel this the most because it will be affecting a personal point, a personal planet in your chart, but we all will feel it on a collective level. The undercurrents of our lives will start to slowly shift and change. The collective, fashion, media, all of this is undergoing a huge change in the next few years. January 27th. Now, this is one to really watch. Mars will conjunct with Pluto, and this can lead to arguments, violence, public outburst, people really not getting along. Be more cautious, especially when you are out and about, as this day can bring on more violence, more outrage, outbursts. January 29th, Mercury will conjunct Venus in Aquarius. This is really great for business negotiations, harmonious communication, giving and receiving love messages, appreciation. The focus will go from business to the collective as Venus changes signs. Let's get into some of the numerology. 2026 is a year 10-1. 10 is the wheel of fortune. It is fate, change, unpredictable events, forces beyond your control, culmination, completion, the rise and fall of things. So this year can be extreme change, paths completely changing, your life completely changing, initiating a brand new beginning, fortune changing. January is a month 1. And because 2026 is really number 10, January becomes number 11. All about intuition, unexpected happenings, mastering a skill. 11, the master number. 11 symbolizes outer world and inner world meeting together. That's why it's a number of strength, divine spiritual access. So we are bringing out inner manifestations. A lot of us can have the willpower to manifest, see our vision come to life. 11 in tarot is justice, but actually traditionally strength was 11. Justice was 8. And strength is all about recovery, self-mastery, resilience, passion, influence, making long-term plans. The card of being active, of movement. If you find yourself irritable this month or a little bit angry, it means you need to move more. You need more physical activity. And now we really refer to 11 as the justice card, which is about accountability, fairness, truth, law, cutting away at what is no longer needed, making important decisions, weighing the pros and cons of a situation. So we may see both playing out, but month 11 is a fantastic month to have our inner creative visions come to life, to be able to manifest them into our reality. We are going to feel like we have more strength to get things done, get down to business. And as Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, we're really going to feel like we are making headway in the area of life where you have Mars transiting. I'm going to go into each of the signs and everything will be timestamped down below. Aries, January will start out with a full moon in the sign of Cancer. This is your fourth house of home, family, mother, vehicles. This could be a time you're letting go of a vehicle, furniture, clutter, moving out of your home. This can also be a time of celebrations. Maybe you just bought a home, bought a vehicle, you're celebrating with your family. Most of the month, the action is in your 10th house of career and public image. This is where Mars is transiting, which means you are working on advancing your career, working on a career project. Watch out for problems with bosses, people of authority. They could be rubbing you the wrong way in January. Venus is also in your 10th house, so working on a career, starting a business, working on your public image is what's going to actually bring you a lot of joy, a lot of fulfillment this month. You may even find love, romance at work. On the 17th, Venus will enter your 11th house of groups, friendships, and this is a time of socializing, getting out there, working on a group project, or just hanging out with your friends. So the second half of the month, hanging out with your friends, socializing, joining new communities will bring you a lot of joy and fulfillment. Meeting a romantic partner through a friend, through a friendship circle. This also highlights buying yourself things that really make you happy. So attaining some financial goal or just buying things that you really, really enjoy. On the 18th, we have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn, your 10th house. This is where you could be working on a new project, getting promoted, starting a new job, maybe even opening up your own business. There's a brand new opportunity opening up for you when it comes to your career, your public image. This can also mean that you are getting a new boss. There's new colleagues coming into your work environment. On the 23rd, Mars will enter your 11th house. Watch out for arguments, disagreements within friendships changing. There can be some aggravations coming from friends towards the end of the month. January 26th, Neptune will enter the sign of Aries, where you are beginning a new identity. Over the next 14 years, big identity shifts, changing up your appearance in some way, embarking on new creative ventures. So a lot of you could actually start a business or get into something that is spiritual, healing, creative. You're going to notice yourself become very in tune with everybody. You're going to be able to read the room, read the emotions of other people. And of course, this means you're going to have to also draw some serious boundaries, because with Neptune can come self-delusion, self-deception, or deception from those around you. So even relationships, within career, within your home, family life, watch out for that. As with Neptune, we can be bending reality to fit what it is we want to see sometimes. And whenever Neptune shifts signs like this, it means there's a new start, a fresh new beginning in the way that you want to appear, present yourself, or your path in life. So what might start out as confusion, as Saturn makes its way into your first house next month, you will be able to realize that you are now letting go of your past self and carving out a new identity, a life path. So over the next few months, you're going to see your life really shift and change in major ways. I hope that this was helpful, Aries. Taurus, January starts out with a full moon in the sign of Cancer. This is your third house. This is where Jupiter is transiting now. So there's a sense of optimism to this full moon. This could be you completing a task, a project, especially when it comes to social media, anything that you have been writing or working on, where you are now ready to publish it, let the world see what you have been working on, and ending to learning a skill. This could mean that your neighborhood is changing, your neighbors are changing. There could be big celebrations with friends, your community, your siblings, big changes to your local environment, or just releasing mundane tasks that you do that you no longer need to. So your schedule could be changing in a big way. The first half of the month, Mars is in Capricorn. It does really well in Capricorn. This could mean that you are planning a trip, traveling, learning something new, connecting online with other people, other teachers, finding new teachers. There may be some disagreements, a friction with a father figures, or even certain teachers or educators. You could also be working on getting your work published, whether that is writing or even social media projects. Until the 17th, you also have Venus, your ruling planet, in the 9th house. So really reading, studying, watching documentaries, immersing yourself in new things is going to bring you a lot of joy. After the 17th, your ruling planet Venus goes into your 10th house. So the second half of the month, working on your career, how you present yourself to the outside world, maybe even getting a promotion, working on a work project is what's going to bring you a lot of fulfillment. January 18th, we have a new moon in Capricorn. This is your 9th house. This is where all the action is taking place. A new beginning in education, teaching, publishing, starting over in a new location, immersing yourself in new culture, whether that is trying out different food, music, documentaries, books, new teachings, a new perspective, going on vacation, planning on vacation, maybe taking care of passports, visas, things like that. But really, it's a new beginning in your thinking, your thought process. And for some of you, maybe updating your work skills. January 26th, Neptune goes into Aries. This is your 12th house. This is the house of endings, closure. It's the house of spirituality, vivid dreams. And Neptune will give you a lot of vivid dreams, a vivid imagination, being able to download creative ideas, psychic intuition, but this can also be a time where you are drawn to escapism tendencies. So do watch out for that, whether that is through isolation, too much partying, doing things in an unhealthy way. A good time to really work on your boundaries, because if you do have any personal planets in the sign of Aries in your 12th house, as Neptune is transiting your 12th house, it's more of a behind the scenes until it transits and conjuncts one of your personal planets. And then you have to watch out for lies, deceit, not seeing reality clearly. So a good time to really work on your intuition. It's a very long transit, and mostly you're only going to notice that maybe your dreams are more vivid, you're more in tune with your intuition, you're more spiritual. Until Neptune makes contact with a personal planet, you're not going to really see any kind of a deception or anything like that. I hope that this was helpful, Taurus. Gemini, January starts out with a full moon in the sign of Cancer. This is your second house of family, close connections, possessions, the money that you make. A full moon is a completion of something. So it could either be a celebration, finally reaching a pivotal point in money making, your possessions, in your family life. Or it could be an ending, a release. This is a really optimistic full moon. Jupiter is also in your second house, expanding your reach, your income. For some of you, this could be releasing a job, releasing a source of income, getting rid of certain possessions. And for others, this could be a celebration, maybe a new job, a new source of income, getting the possessions that you have always wanted. So there's some kind of a closure or change happening when it comes to money, finances, family life, your possessions, your things. There's a ton of activity happening in your 8th house. Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, and it is there in your 8th house along with Venus, the Sun, Mercury. Especially the first half of January, your focus could really be on clearing up things from the past. Maybe you are working on taxes, healthcare plans, issues with your partner or your partner's money that are coming up that you are dealing with. Studying occult knowledge, mysticism, maybe alternative ways of healing past hurt. Issues from the past can come up now so that they could be resolved. With Venus in your 8th house for the first 17 days, studying astrology, any kind of occult knowledge, or maybe watching shows that are transformative, thrillers, anything like this will bring you a lot of fulfillment. But it can bring up a lot of intense feelings about the past relationships. So there is a healing element to this for you, Gemini. After the 17th, Venus goes into the 9th house, where travel, watching documentaries, reading books, learning something new, immersing yourself in different cultures is what will bring you joy the second half of January. A new moon, a new beginning on the 18th in your 8th house area. This can mean that your partner or spouse starts making more money. They get a new job, they get a big bonus, or maybe you get some money coming through an inheritance, through a bonus of some sort. New contracts, a new loan. New contracts, a new loan. This could also be hiring a new therapist, a new counselor, a new astrologer, an accountant. Finding new ways to heal the past, to heal past hurts. So for a lot of you, this is a very important new moon. There's a new beginning, but also you're releasing things from the past, transforming the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you feel about your relationships, your past relationships. January 23rd, Mars will enter Aquarius, so it's going to enter your 9th house. So the focus will be on travel, learning, legal matters. Watch out for disagreements with teachers, educators, father figures. Mostly after the 23rd, your focus will shift to learning, maybe publishing your own work, taking care of your passport, a visa, school documentation, things like that. January 26th is when Neptune will re-enter the sign of Aries. It's now going to be there for the next 14 years, and next month Saturn is joining in. This is a time where you're going to feel that your friendship circle is changing. You might even feel that certain friendships in your life are drifting away, they're dissolving. There could be certain friends or associates that disappoint you. You could even feel betrayed or let down by a certain friend, a certain friendship circle in your life over the course of the next few years. Neptune dissolves boundaries, so there can also be a lot of confusion within friendship circles, with a friend, even an older sibling. You will start to attract new friends, new acquaintances into your life. Now with Neptune, you got to be careful of delusion, lies, deceit. So be very cautious with new people entering your life, but a lot of times this means you will also attract a lot of spiritual people. Artists, the creative types. The 11th house is also your future hopes and dreams. And a lot of you could get into a lot of creative fields, join groups of people in meaningful causes that you want to fight for, be a part of, add your creative vision to. So starting in January, you're going to start feeling that you want to be a part of something new, something bigger, and you're going to start attracting new friends into your life. On the 27th, Mars will conjunct with Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Be very cautious with travel, going out and about around this day, because there could be a lot of angry people, violence, outbursts. I hope this was helpful for you, Gemini. Cancer, we start out January with a full moon in your sign, 13 degrees of Cancer, on January 3rd. And a full moon is something coming to fruition. It has reached its peak or it's a literal ending. There can be an ending to an identity that you have been holding, the way that you have been doing things. Your life path is completely shifting. You're making big changes within your life. You could have been exposed to new experiences, and now you want to start living in a different way. It could also be a celebration of something that you have completed. You have reached a goal, a move, a new job, a pregnancy, a wedding. Maybe some of you even completely changing your style, the way that you look. So you are letting go, releasing outdated parts of yourself, outdated thinking patterns. The first 23 days of January, Mars, the planet of anger and action, is exalted in the sign of Capricorn in your 7th house. This could be a time where you're going over partnership deals, contract, planning something big, maybe even working with your partner on something, some agreement. For some of you, this could even be marriage, maybe starting a business together. Watch out for arguments, disputes with your partner. They can be a little bit more agitated until the 23rd. If you find yourself fighting, arguing with your partner, this just means you need to do more active stuff together. Now, Venus is also there, which means that you can actually be experiencing a lot of fulfillment in a relationship. You could be very busy communicating with a lot of people, clients, those of you who have a business. On the 17th, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, moves into Aquarius, your 8th house, at which point you're going to like to watch thrillers, maybe study some occult knowledge, some psychology, get closer to your partner, even benefit financially from other people. On the 18th, there is a new moon in your 7th house of partnerships. And this could be the beginning of a new relationship, a marriage, taking a relationship to the next level. For those of you who own a business, it could be a time of signing contracts, joining with another business partner, attracting new clients, customers into your business, a new beginning in the relationship area. So those of you who are single, it's an excellent time to date, to meet somebody. On the 23rd, as Mars moves into your 8th house, things from the past may come up to be resolved. Maybe you are dealing with issues with money, insurance, health insurance, contract, joint accounts with your partner, going over financial and home responsibilities that you share with a partner, a spouse. And for a lot of you, this can even deepen intimacy. But do be careful of arguments, manipulation, especially when it comes to money, possession, joint accounts, especially from about the 25th to the 28th, because on the 27th exactly, Mars and Pluto come together at 3 degrees Aquarius in your 8th house. It's the house of sudden happenings, transformation. This can actually be receiving money, secrets coming out, you discovering something. But when you're out and about, when you're traveling, just be more watchful, because there could be more violence, more outbursts. People could be more angry. January 26th, Neptune is re-entering Aries. Next month, Saturn joins in. Over the next 14 years, you have Neptune in your 10th house of career, your reputation, and this is a time where your public image can be unclear. There could be a lot of confusion around what success means to you, a desire to contribute something, maybe even change your field of work into something that is very creative, very artsy, having to do with media, having to do with healing. But do watch out for confusion, self-delusion, especially when it comes to the public, your business, your colleagues, your superiors. Neptune is mostly going to do its thing in the background. Most of you will not really feel much of it until it makes contact with a personal point, a personal planet. But right now, as it goes in, there might be a flood of new inspiration when it comes to either starting a new business, a new career, or wanting to do something very meaningful. I hope that this was helpful, Cancer. Leo, January starts out with a full moon at 13 degrees of Cancer in your 12th house. house. It is a very optimistic new moon. Jupiter is also transiting your 12th house. So this is a time of wanting to be alone, self-reflection, releasing outdated forms of thinking, releasing anything that is holding you back, any negative habits. Time to clear house, get rid of your clutter, get rid of anything that might be holding you back in the way of your dreams. You may also be working on a creative project in the background. While a full moon is endings, releasing, it's also where something has reached its peak. So this could be a time of celebrating something, celebrating a milestone that you have completed, even retreating away from the world, taking a trip, just relaxing and pampering yourself. From the 1st until the 23rd, Mars, the planet of anger and action, is transiting your 6th house. It is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, so you are probably getting a lot of work done. Starting a new health routine, working on a big work project. Those of you who own a business, it may be a time where there's some arguments, disagreements with your employees. Some people at work that are just getting on your nerves, pissing you off. On the 17th, Venus will move into your 7th house, at which point you're going to be more magnetic, attracting more relationships into your life, enjoying spending time with a partner or spouse, going out on romantic dates. Those of you who are single, after the 17th, it's an excellent time to meet somebody, go out on dates, attract a new romantic partner, attract new clients into your business. On the 18th, we have a new moon in your 6th house of health, routine, and this could be the beginning of a new health regimen, a new diet plan, getting organized, hiring new employees if you own a business, new coworkers coming to your job. For some of you, maybe even getting a new pet. A lot of you will be working on your health, your fitness, your career goals in the month of January. You're going to be very, very driven to complete everything, but at the same time, wanting to retreat away from everybody and spend some alone time in the first half of January. On the 23rd, Mars will enter your 7th house, and this could be where your partner or spouse is a little bit more argumentative with you. But Venus is also there, so it can actually lead to a very satisfying relationship. If you notice more tension with a partner or spouse, just start doing more active things together. Now, do be more watchful from the 25th to the 28th, because exactly on the 27th, Mars is conjuncting with Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. This is your 7th house. And this could lead to violence, fighting, arguing, and this is also the house of open enemies. So do be more cautious around those days and be careful when you're out and about, when you're traveling, because people can be more on edge, more angry, and just more argumentative with you. Another big thing this month is on the 26th, Neptune is re-entering Aries. It will be joined there by Saturn next month. If you do have personal planets from about 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel the confusion or something new beginning in the month of January already, as Neptune will be influencing those planets. So towards the end of January, you might get a lot of creative ideas and inspiration to maybe write, to teach, to publish your work, to travel, to move to a different country, to immerse yourself in different cultures, and start questioning your philosophy on life, your religious and political beliefs. All of this could be changing right now. With Neptune, we also have to watch out for self-deluding ourselves or inviting people into our lives who are not honest, confusing situations. Neptune is just going to play there in the background for the next 14 years. But when it makes contact with a personal point or a planet, you might feel like you are really confused about something, whether it is where you want to live, your religious beliefs, your belief system, education, your teachers, what you believe in. At the same time, Neptune will bring in a lot of creative ideas. And it's a time where some of you might even want to go back to school and do something else, especially when it comes to writing or teaching, something having to do with art, creativity, media, mysticism, healing. Also, be careful with any legal matters because this can really bring a lot of confusion into what is going on with court cases, with paper trails, things like that. I hope this was helpful, Leo. Virgo, January will start out with a 13-degree Cancer full moon in your 11th house. This is the house of your hopes and dreams, groups, friendships. And with Jupiter also transiting your 11th house, this is a very optimistic full moon, one that could be about celebrating achieving your goals, your hopes, your dreams, achieving a certain milestone, buying yourself something that you have wanted, gaining recognition, gaining more followers. For those of you with an older sibling, it can be that they are celebrating something at this time. And of course, a full moon is something coming to fruition, its peak, but it could also be about releasing, letting go, and closure. Some of you might be releasing a certain friendship, certain group associations, even releasing certain goals you've had for yourself that you no longer feel aligned with. From the 1st to the 20th, your ruler Mercury is in your 5th house. So creative hobbies, projects, hanging out with your children, or just having fun is something that's going to take center stage for the first 20 days of January. Your children can be a little moody or act up with Mars in the 5th house, but with Venus there, Mercury there, it looks more like you are really working hard on something creative, maybe even finding new inspiration, a new hobby. Some of you could be dating, falling in love, meeting a new romantic partner with Venus there. So creative pursuits and romance is what's going to bring you a lot of joy, a lot of fulfillment, as well as hanging out with your kids the first half of January. On the 17th, Venus will move into your 6th house. On the 20th, Mercury, your ruler, is also moving into the 6th house, shifting the focus to work, organization, getting fit, getting healthy, and that's what's going to bring you a lot of joy and fulfillment towards the second half of the month. We have a new moon in Capricorn, and this is where all the action is taking place. So a brand new beginning in your 5th house area. This could be, for those of you who have children, your children beginning something new. Finding a new creative hobby, a new passion project, starting a new creative project. For some of you, even starting a romance, meeting somebody. Those of you who are single, this is a good time to meet somebody. Take a relationship to the next level, maybe even fall in love. Could even be pregnancy for some of you, or if you have older children, even having grandchildren. On the 23rd, Mars, the planet of action and anger, will go into your 6th house, really motivating you to get fit, get healthy. Those of you who own a business, this could be a time where certain employees act up, or maybe they leave your work. There could be issues going on at work or coworkers pissing you off after the 23rd, but really be careful from the 25th through about the 28th, 29th. Exactly on the 27th, Mars will conjunct Pluto in your 6th house at 3 degrees of Aquarius. When Pluto comes together with Mars, there could be anger, disagreements, arguments, violence, outbursts, and this is happening in the area of work. So those of you who are working with people who are getting on your nerves, just be cautious those days because something could escalate. And watch your health a little bit more. Be careful if you're out and about. Be careful when you're traveling. And even at work, those of you who have very physical jobs, this can be a time where you are more accident prone. On the 26th, Neptune is going to re-enter the sign of Aries. Saturn will follow along next month. So it's finally leaving your 7th house, bringing a lot of clarity into your one-on-one relationships. As it enters your 8th house, those of you who have personal planets from 0 to about 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel Neptune starting in January because it's going to be making contact with a personal planet of yours. Neptune will be in your 8th house for 14 years. There in the background, you're not going to feel it so much unless it's making contact with a personal planet, but it is slowly changing you. Your intuition will be heightened and you're going to really be into wanting to study things such as psychology, astrology, alternative healing, yoga, tantra, magic, true crime, investigative work. as well as transformations, even renovating things that are old and making them come to life again. The very process of transforming something, whether it is things, the psyche, your finances. Neptune can blur the lines sometimes, and it is sometimes responsible for lies, deceit, confusion. And this is the area of money responsibility. So be really cautious with your money, your paper trail, your insurance. Make sure that everything is really well looked through, as well as you're very careful about hiring any accountants, where you place your money. This can even cause confusion and blurred lines when it comes to joint finances, joint responsibilities. You do want to guard against codependency, issues of control, financial or emotional manipulation, as well as taking any substances or escapism tendencies. For a lot of you Virgos, this is going to be a time of healing trauma, healing past trauma, maybe even experiencing fear around certain things, contact with the other world, psychic abilities. And you may start to notice as Neptune slips in there already in January that your interest in these things is going to increase. But like I said, unless it's making contact with a personal point, a personal planet, it's just there in the background working its magic. And you'll notice the subtle signs of the psychic abilities, your intuition heightening, and being interested in different things over the next few years. I hope that this was helpful, Virgo. Libra, January starts out with a full moon in the sign of Cancer, your 10th house of career and reputation. Jupiter is also transiting your 10th house. It's a really optimistic full moon. Full moons is an ending, a completion, but also reaching its final peak. So this could be a time of celebrating, getting a promotion, getting a new job, becoming more popular, getting recognized, starting your own business, finishing up an important work project that you have been working on. Work associates can be changing. It can be a time where you are going to report to new bosses, new employees are around you, certain employees, business contacts leaving, the public recognizing your work, celebration of a big career milestone. And for some of you, you've come to the end of the road with a certain job, a certain employment, or a certain title that you have been known for. And this is a big career pivot, a redirection for you. The first 17 days of January, Venus, which is your ruler, is in your 4th house. So you're really going to enjoy spending time at home, decorating, staying in, enjoying some family celebrations. After the 17th, Venus moves into your 5th house of romance, creativity. Those of you who are single, after the 17th might be a good time to start dating, working on creative projects, your hobbies, go out, have fun. Mars, the planet of anger and action, is in Capricorn the first 23 days of the month in your 4th house. It's exalted in Capricorn, so there could be a lot that you are working on within the home. You could be fixing something, taking on a lot of home-based projects. Watch out for arguments in the home, especially with your mother, or maybe just arguments in general with family members. There could be some things in the home that break down, you are fixing. So the first half of the month, you are really focused on home, family. On the 18th, there is a new moon in Capricorn, again in your 4th house of home and family, and this could signal the purchase of a new vehicle, moving, adding a new member to the family, getting a pet, redecorating your home, getting new furniture, a new beginning in the life of your mother. January 23rd, Mars, the planet of anger and action, moves into your 5th house. Venus is there. This is the time where you can be very fulfilled with a romantic relationship. Take a relationship to the next level. Start a new creative hobby. From the 25th to the 29th, Mars is going to conjunct Pluto, exactly actually on the 27th. In your 5th house of love, romance, this could be the beginning of a steamy new romance, pregnancy for some of you. This can also be a time where your children are acting up. arguments, disagreements with your children. But watch out with your health when you're going out and about, because this can be a time where everybody's on high alert. They're angry. There could be some violence, outbursts. And because this is in your 5th house, for you, it could even be unwanted attention, stalking, a lot of jealousy coming from a romantic partner or somebody who has romantic feelings towards you. January 26th, Neptune is going to re-enter the sign of Aries. Next month, Saturn will follow suit. If you have personal planets from 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, Neptune will start affecting those planets in January. You can start feeling things shifting, things changing. As Neptune goes into your 7th house, it could be the very beginning of a new partnership, a new romance, falling in love. And Neptune is trying to connect you to divine source, divine love. And you're trying to find that now through love, through relationships. There may be a lot of longing, yearning, but also a lot of confusion. Make sure you're very careful with who you let into your personal space, because a lot of times with Neptune, things start out good, then we discover what's going on. It's very confusing, and then it dissipates. It turns to something else, or you could just feel very stupid for getting yourself into situations you didn't want to be in. Neptune will continue to be in the background of your relationship sector for the next 14 years. When it makes contact with a personal planet, or it is exactly opposing your ascendant degree, you're going to feel a lot of shifts when it comes to your love life. There will be themes of idolizing your partner, loss of clarity within your intimate relationships, seeing people through rose-colored glasses, not seeing the reality, feeling like you want to rescue someone or being rescued by someone, attracting partners who have substance abuse issues, maybe mental health issues. Neptune can also be responsible for infidelity, and this could be you or your partner. Twin flame kind of love, confusing commitments, unclear commitments. Be careful not to get yourself into situationships. And of course, Neptune can also bring deep, passionate spiritual bonds. It all depends on your personal chart. A lot of people find the love of their lives. The very beginning of Neptune entering a sign does usually coincide with the beginning of a romance, the beginning of a relationship. And as Saturn moves in there in February, this could solidify something where it could get very serious very fast. You can take a relationship to the next level. I hope that this was helpful for you, Libra. Scorpio, January starts out with a full moon in Capricorn, which is your 9th house of higher education, philosophy, travel. There might be certain spiritual breakthroughs that you are having right now. This could be an end to something that you have been learning, finally getting your credentials in something, making travel plans, finally getting to go on that trip. As Jupiter is also transiting your 9th house, this is a more optimistic full moon where you could actually be celebrating finishing up an educational path, work that you have published, getting recognized for something that you put out into the world, getting your visa, your passport, your paperwork so that you could travel, and having a lot of deep spiritual mental breakthroughs. Most of the action happening in January is in your 3rd and 4th house area. So Mars, the planet of action, from the 1st to the 23rd, is in your 3rd house. Watch out for disagreements with siblings, with neighbors. It's a time you're going to be very ambitious. You're going to go out more, explore your town. Some of you might be publishing content, building a website, or doing a lot online, chit-chatting with people. There may be some issues with electronics, or maybe even the purchase of new electronics. On the 18th, there is a new moon in Capricorn in your 3rd house. There might be new developments happening in the lives of your siblings, the purchase of a new computer, a new cell phone, enrolling in a new course, new associates, new neighbors. Your community could be changing in a big way. After the 23rd, Mars moves into your 4th house, at which point there could be some renovations, things that you are working on within your home. This can be a time where something in the home breaks down. There could be some car issues, and watch out for arguments with the family. So there is a big emphasis on using your skill sets, learning something new, talking to a lot of people, a lot of communication, and on home and family. That is where Venus is transiting as well. So all of this is going to bring you a lot of enjoyment and a lot of fulfillment throughout January. Be more cautious from the 25th to about the 29th, because it's exactly on the 27th that Mars and Pluto conjunct in your 4th house. This can be a time where there's a lot of outbursts, a lot of anger, a lot of disagreements, things breaking down, even violence. So be cautious and be extra careful. Family members might be really argumentative, and there could also be some car issues, maybe something breaking. It's a time when you and everyone around you can be more on edge. On the 26th, Neptune is re-entering Aries. If you have personal planets from about 0 to 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, Neptune will be making contact with those planets. Generally, as soon as a planet enters a house, there is a new development there. And for you, this is work, health, service. Over the next 14 years, a Neptune will be in your 6th house in the background there. But it will be mostly felt if it's going over a planet, if it is squaring a planet, opposing a planet. The core themes of Neptune in the 6th house will be being very sensitive to your environment. A strong desire for healing, helping people heal, helping people. You could actually come in contact with some animals, some pets that really transform your life. Service to people, service to pets. Mysterious health ailments that show up. There can be confusion or deceit from employees if you own a business, or coworkers. Working with healing, with helping others. Working in very creative fields such as media, photography, film, design, things that inspire people. Metaphysical subjects such as astrology, tarot, yoga, herbs. You're going to have a lot of compassion, wanting to serve others, to help others, become an intuitive healer. But you may experience some fatigue, workplace confusion in what it is that you want to do with your life. So a really good thing to do is just protect your energy, simplify all of your routines, get organized. And this is a very long-term transit, so you're not going to notice everything right away. Everything won't be happening at once. Neptune is a planet where we are trying to connect to divine source. That's why it's responsible for unconditional love. It dissolves all boundaries, which is why a lot of the times we are just drawn to something. We want to help. We want to change something. We want to be a part of something bigger wherever Neptune's transiting. And this area is going to be very important for you for the next 2.5 years, because in February, Saturn is coming in, joining with Neptune in your 6th house. There will be a huge focus on health, healing, diet, organization, work, employees, your business, in the coming years. I hope that this was helpful, Scorpio. Sagittarius, January starts out with a full moon in Cancer. This is your 8th house of joint finances, intimacy, transformation, responsibilities that you share with another person. A full moon is when something has reached its peak, or it could be an ending. This is where Jupiter is transiting, so it is more of a positive full moon where celebrations could be happening. Maybe your partner starts bringing in more money, you get a Christmas bonus, you reap the rewards from investing your money, an inheritance, an insurance payout. You could also be parting ways with an accountant, an astrologer, a therapist, literal or metaphorical endings happening, especially you letting go, releasing past hurts, past trauma, reaching the end of a contractual agreement. So if somebody else has been supporting you, if money has been coming in from different sources, this could be the time where some of that comes to an end. For some of you, this could even be sudden financial rewards, finally paying off a debt that you have had. The first 23 days of the month, the big focus is really on your second house. There may be new money coming to you in some way, maybe a new job, buying yourself some nice possessions you're going to enjoy for a really long time to come. This is where the new moon is happening. So a new source of income, new money coming to you, new possessions. You just have to be careful not to spend too much, because when Mars is in the second house, we can sometimes spend money like crazy. After the 23rd, the focus shifts to your third house, joining online communities, online conversations, as well as exploring your town. Try to be cautious towards the end of the month when you're out and about and traveling. On the 27th, Mars is conjuncting with Pluto in your third house. Third house is siblings, short distance trips. So there could be some arguments with siblings, with neighbors, and even some road rage around you. So just be more cautious. People could be more violent, more argumentative from about the 25th to the 29th. January 26th. Neptune is going to re-enter Aries, and in February, Saturn will meet up with Neptune in your fifth house. It's the house of creativity, romance, children. It's the house of fun, the house of passion, learning, deep knowledge, also gambling, the stock market. Neptune will be in the background there for the next 14 years. When it is making contact with a personal planet, that is when you're really going to feel Neptune. Things will get confusing, things will get strange, and some things will disappear, new things will appear. Neptune is where we are trying to connect to divine source. It's the higher octave of Venus. Love without limits, love without boundaries. And already in January and February, if you have personal planets from 0 to about 3 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel Neptune's transit to those planets. And it will mean something different depending on which planet it is. As Neptune enters your fifth house in January, something new is about to begin. It could be a new hobby that is birthed for you now. Some of you, it could be children. A new creative passion project, turning your passion and creativity into a business, new investments. But for a lot of you, this is a new romance, meeting a new romantic partner. You do have to guard against deceit and deception. Neptune is the king of rose-colored glasses, not seeing the reality of a situation. And it can bring up a lot of confusion, deceit, maybe even falling for somebody and not seeing exactly who they are, falling for people who are unavailable, people who have escapism tendencies, mental illness, situationships. But it could also be true love, the beginning of a great love affair for a lot of you, or a new creative passion. I hope that this was helpful, Sagittarius. Capricorn, January starts out with a full moon at 13 degrees of Cancer. This is your 7th house of romantic relationships, business partnerships. Jupiter is also transiting your 7th house. This is a more optimistic full moon. A full moon is something coming to its highest point. It's coming to fruition. Or it could be a literal ending. For some of you, this could be an ending to a business partnership or a romantic relationship, finalizing a divorce or an end to a contract, an agreement that you have had with another person. Now, for a lot of you, this could signify big celebrations around relationships, taking a relationship to the next level, engagement, marriage, reaping business rewards with a business partner. Those of you who are married or coupled, this could be that your partner or spouse is celebrating some work accomplishment, or there could be something work career related that is coming to an end for them. There is a big focus on relationships, especially the first half of January. The first half of January, all the activity is happening in your first house. On the 18th, this is also where we have a new moon in Capricorn. So there is a brand new beginning to you, and this could be changing up your hairstyle, your wardrobe, changing something about your life. A new beginning is opening up for you. A great time to update your look, as you're going to have Venus in your first house until the 17th, which makes you more alluring, more charming. You may even attract love, a new romantic relationship into your life. You're just going to be feeling really good. After the 17th, Venus will shift into your second house, where you could buy yourself some new possessions that you really enjoy for a long time to come. On the 23rd, Mars will move over to your second house, and this could be the beginning of a new source of income. A new job, a new business venture. Just be careful not to spend too much money. And try to be cautious from about the 25th to the 29th, because exactly on the 27th, Mars is conjuncting with Pluto. This can bring major disagreements, arguments, even violence, or maybe losing or breaking some of your possessions. But really just be careful with people. When you're out and about, people can be more on edge around the 27th. January 26th is when Neptune enters Aries. Now, next month in February, Saturn is going to conjunct with Neptune there in your fourth house. So over the course of the next few years, the big focus will be on home, family. Neptune is going to be there in the background for 14 years. But starting now, if you do have personal planets from 0 to about 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can feel Neptune having an effect on those planets. Or even if you are a Capricorn rising from 0 to 5 degrees, you can feel the square from Neptune. As well as Neptune will be bringing you a new beginning. So a lot of you might be redecorating your home, moving in with somebody, getting a new vehicle, updating your home in some way, idolizing a home or certain family connections, wanting to make your home a sanctuary, being nostalgic about family, about the past. There could be relocation. You might want to live by the water, and Neptune can sometimes bring water issues into our home, such as leaks. So be on guard for that. It could bring in a lot of emotional healings, healing of past family karma. At its worst, it could bring mental instability to a family member, confusion, family connections, or maybe even lies being told by some family members. So it's a very long transit, and it's just there in the background. You will mostly feel it when it contacts a personal planet. I hope that this was helpful, Capricorn. Aquarius, January starts out with a full moon in Cancer. This is your sixth house of work, health, routines. This is also where Jupiter is transiting. This is a more optimistic full moon. And as all full moons, this could be a literal ending to something or something coming to fruition. If you've been working on something with a business partner, with your employees, you could be finally reaping the rewards of that hard work, reaping rewards for working out, eating well, changing your diet, organization. For those of you who have a business, this could be a time where certain employees leave your business. Certain coworkers at work might be leaving where you work. There could be a lot of shifts and changes going on at work. This is a very likely time that you pay off a debt, release any negative habits that you may have. And there will be a big focus on your relationship with your coworkers or your employees. For the first 23 days of January, all the action is basically taking place in your 12th house. With Mars transiting your 12th house, things from the past may come up to be resolved. You may even have a lot of vivid dreams and thoughts that keep you up at night, have a hard time falling asleep, and retreat away from the world a little bit, working on things behind the scenes. The first 23 days of January might make you feel like you are low on energy. there could be more expenses. After the 17th, Venus goes into your first house where you're going to be more charming, you're going to feel good, you're going to attract love into your life, those of you who are single. And it's an excellent time to update your look, update your wardrobe, get a haircut. On the 18th, there is a new moon in Capricorn, and this is your 12th house. So this is a new beginning, a time to release negative thought patterns, negative habits, get rid of what's holding you back, get rid of clutter, making plans to better your health, starting a long-term investment plan. After the 23rd, Mars moves into your first house. So you're going to have your energy back. You're going to want to go work out. You could be a little bit more impatient. You're motivated to start something new towards the end of the month. Just be careful because you could be a little bit more argumentative, more pushy, or people may perceive you that way towards the end of the month. And definitely watch yourself, watch your surroundings, where you go from the 25th to the 29th. Exactly on the 27th, Mars conjuncts Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. This may lead to fights, disagreements, even violence. So just be careful when you're around people because everybody could be a little bit more on edge from the 25th to the 29th. January 26th, Neptune enters Aries. This is your third house area of self-effort, siblings, skill sets, your day-to-day activities. Next month, Saturn is also entering your third house. So your third house area is a big focus the next 2.5 years. Neptune is going to play in the background for 14 years in your third house area. But this month, if you have personal planets from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can already feel Neptune starting in January. Finally, Neptune will be out of your second house so you can get a better grasp on your finances. And themes of Neptune in the third house are increased intuition. You might have a problem with mental focus. There could be some mental fog. You might lose track of time, but you can really channel a lot of inspiration into storytelling, publishing your work, learning a new skill set, teaching a new skill set, become very prominent on social media. Neptune can also bring a lot of confusion, not seeing the reality of a situation. So when it comes to your close relationships with your friends, your acquaintances, your siblings, your neighbors, be on guard that sometimes you may not be seeing things clearly. Travel and learning can also bring you so much inspiration. I hope this was helpful, Aquarius. Pisces, January starts out with a full moon at 13 degrees of Cancer. This is your fifth house of romance, creativity. A lot of you might be celebrating finishing a creative project. Those of you who have children, it could be a time one of your children completed something important and there is a celebration around that. Pregnancy, giving birth, grandchildren. For some of you, this could be a literal ending where you are releasing a certain hobby that you no longer find joyful, parting ways with somebody you were dating if it hasn't worked out. All the action is taking place in your 11th house. That's groups, friendships, organizations, your future goals, your future plans. So the first 23 days of January, there could be a lot of social gatherings, social events that you are invited to. You could be working on a project with a group of people, setting in motion a lot of your future goals and plans. There may be some arguments, disagreements with a friendship circle, with a certain friend. Spending time with your friends is going to bring you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness, especially the first 17 days of January when Venus is transiting your 11th house. On the 18th, we also have a new moon in your 11th house, and this is a new beginning, getting introduced to new people, making new friends, joining new groups, new charities, being introduced to influential people, maybe by one of your friends, gaining recognition, gaining more followers if you have a business, if you're on social media, a new beginning in expanding your social circle, being drawn to new and interesting people. So from the 23rd going into February, you might have a harder time falling asleep. You might be dealing with past issues that come up that you're thinking about. It might be keeping you up at night. This could also mean more expenses, you wanting to retreat away from the world, and just feeling like you have less energy. Now, be a little bit more cautious from the 25th to the 29th, because exactly on the 27th, Mars is conjunct Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius there in your 12th house. So when you're out and about, just be more cautious, because this could lead to outbursts, disagreements, violence, secrets coming out. People could be more aggravated, be more on edge. So do guard your health a little bit more around that time, just to be on the safe side. January 26th, Neptune enters Aries, your second house. And in February, Saturn is also going to join in. So now Neptune will be playing there in the background in your second house area for the next 14 years. Now you're going to notice it the most when it is making contact with a personal planet. And right now, if you have personal planets from about 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, you can already feel Neptune and its effects in January and February. And your second house area will be very important for the next 2.5 years, as you're going to have Neptune there, you're going to have Saturn there. So it's going to be a very prominent area of concern for you. And as Neptune is transiting the second house, some themes that you might encounter over the next 14 years are your values could be shifting from material to spiritual. Also, money, finances could become unstable. There could be confusion around money, around responsibilities. If you own a business, be careful of being undercharged, overcharging. Make sure you track your finances very carefully, because there could be some financial deception. You could be starting a business and make money through either something very creative or spiritual service work, media, photography, art. And when Neptune enters the second house, what you find valuable will completely change. What you do for work, your possessions, how you make money, how you save money, how you eat, and it won't all be at once. It'll happen slowly over time. So your value system is changing. I hope that this was helpful, Pisces.